Welcome students of Thakur Vidya Mandir High School and Junior College. Chapter 4 Molecular Basis of Inheritance Part 1. So today let us explore about the genetic material that is DNA. The discovery of DNA. DNA stands for deoxyribose nucleic acid. Today we know that DNA is double-stranded helical molecule. It is a helical structure which is double-stranded. But do we know the discovery? Do we know the history behind it? So let us study about the discovery of DNA. So the modern understanding of DNA has evolved from the discovery of nucleic acid to the development of the double helix model. So in 1869, Friedrich Mischer, he began working with the white blood cells, which are the major component of pus formation from infections. So what he did, he collected a lot of pus from bandages at the local hospital. He used salt solution to wash the pus of the bandages. So when he added weak alkaline solution to the cells lysed. So when alkaline solution was added to the cells it lysed and nuclei precipitated out of the cell, and the nucleus it was precipitated, it was like a cluster and it came out of the cell. So from the cell nuclei he isolated unique chemical substance to which he called nuclein. He called it a nuclein, that is NuClein, nuclein. And what he did, he actually when he studied about it, he saw that it has high phosphorus content. Moreover, it showed acid properties, hence it was also known as nucleic acid. So by the early 1900s, we knew that Mischer nuclein was a mixture of protein and nucleic acids. Now there are two kinds of nucleic acids, DNA and RNA. So if we are talking about the discovery of DNA double helix, so Frederick Griffith in 1928, he discovers that the factor is diseased bacteria can transform harmless bacteria into a deadly bacteria. Maurice Wilkins, he worked onto the structure of DNA. Rosalind Franklin in 1952 worked out helical structure of DNA by X-ray photo of DNA. Watson and Crick in 1953 described the DNA molecule from Franklin's X-ray. So this is the history of DNA and how actually from a cell, from a infected cell, how actually it was lysed and the nucleus it was precipitated, and on studying the precipitated nucleus we came to know that it is a nuclein mixture which is consisting of nucleic acid. The genetic material is DNA. After in 1900s, we knew that Mischer's nuclein was a mixture. It was a mixture of proteins and nucleic acids. So there were two substances. One was protein and one was nucleic acid. So how will we decide that the genetic material is either a protein or a nucleic acid? So what happened by the early 1900s, the geneticists, they knew that genes control the inheritance of traits. Now traits, what it is, I'll deal with it later on. So they control the traits, that is your actions, your actually characters, what you call is traits. So that genes that is allocated on chromosomes, and that chemically chromosomes are, they remain composed of DNA and proteins. So actually they studied that the nucleus it consisted of chromosomes, and on the chromosomes it was composed chemically, it was composed of DNA and proteins. So initially the most geneticists, they thought that protein are large complex molecules and they store information needed to govern the cell, the metabolism. Hence it is assumed that the genetic material is the DNA and not the proteins. But actually how it is said, but we need some experiments to prove that whether the genetic material is the protein or DNA. So there were many experiments which was carried out by Hershey and Griffith and many others, which we will be studying in the next part of this chapter. So from that it came to the conclusion that the genetic material is DNA and not the protein. Griffith experiment. In 1928, a British medical officer, Frederick Griffith, he performed an experiment which was based on a bacterium, that is Streptococcus pneumoniae. It was causing pneumonia in humans and other mammals at that time, which was one of the major cause of death. So what he did, he used two strains of two strains of genetic varieties of Streptococcus to find a cure for pneumonia. Actually, he wanted to find the cure for pneumonia because at that time people were dying due to pneumonia. So what he did, he took two strains. Number one was virulent, smooth, pathogenic, encapsulated type. I repeat, virulent, smooth, pathogenic, encapsulated type. That was the S type. That was S strain. And second was non-virulent, rough, non-pathogenic, and non-capsulated R type. So one was S type, as you can see in the picture, and the second was R type. So Griffith conducted 4 experiments on this bacteria. First, when he injected bacteria of strain R to mice, the mice survive. So you can see in the picture, when R strain is injected to the mice is alive. Second, the smooth strain S, when it was injected in the mice, that strain actually killed mice. So mouse was found to be dead. So what happened? Third time what he did, he heat killed the S strain, that is the smooth strain. He heat killed it and then he again injected into the mice. He observed that the mouse was alive. And again what he did, the fourth type what he did was, he took the R strain and heat killed smooth strain, as you can see in the picture, and then he injected in the mice. What happened? The mouse died. So when R strain was injected into the mouse was alive. When S strain was injected into the mouse was dead. When the heat killed smooth S strain was actually injected into the mouse, it was alive. But when smooth strain was mixed with the rough strain and again it was injected into the mouse was dead. Why? What would be the reason behind it? So in this 4 experiment, something had caused harmless strain bacteria to change into deadly, because the heat killed smooth strain of bacteria was harmless, but when it got mixed with the rough strain, it became harmful. So something has been caused. So Griffith, actually what he did, he noticed that the change was something genetic. It was on genetic level. So he suggested that genetic material from heat killed strain S bacterium had somehow changed the living strain R bacterium into strain S bacterium. So Griffith concluded that R strain bacteria must have taken up to what he called transforming principle. So Griffith actually introduced the transforming principle from the heat killed bacteria, S bacteria, which allowed R strain to get transformed into the smooth coated bacterium and become virulent. And what they did, actually by this experiment, they came to the conclusion that the transforming principle, I repeat, the transforming principle is been taking place. So let us see what are the steps and results of Griffith experiment. Here you can note it down in your notebook as well. So number 1, when mouse was injected with S strain, the mouse died. When mouse was injected with R strain, mouse survived. When mouse was injected with heat killed S strain, the mouse survived. But when mouse was injected with heat killed S living strain with the R strain, the mouse died, and from its blood there was live S strain bacteria recovered. So actually these steps you have to keep in mind. Other steps are also included, like the mouse, it was injected with heat killed S R strain plus DNase enzyme, so the mouse survived. And the mouse injected with heat killed S R strain protease enzyme, so my mouse, it died of pneumonia. That was the other part of the experiment. What you have to remember is still serial number 4, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. How actually the strains it has result on the mouse. Griffith's conclusion. So, on the basis of the injections given to the mice of S and R strain, he came to the conclusion that the bacterial transformation clearly shows that the role of DNA is genetic material, and is further confirmed by the results that the transformation as DNAs digest DNA, and it shows transformation as protease only they digest protein. So he also came, that is the other part of the his experiment, which you will come to know later on. And he concluded that the transforming material is DNA and not the proteins. That is what you have to remember, that the Griffith's conclusion, what it is the transforming material is DNA. Avery, McCarty and MacLeods, they also conducted an experiment to prove that the transforming principle or the transforming factor is DNA. So in 1944, after some 10 years of research and experiment, Avery, McCarty and MacLeods, what they did, they found the first evidence to prove DNA is genetic material through the experiments. They purified DNA, RNA, proteins and other materials from cell-free extract of S cells, that is the strain, and mixed with heat-killed S strains and R. If you can see in the diagram, there is two strain. One is the R, that is the rough, non-virulent, and second is the heat-killed S strain. So actually what they did, they purified DNA, RNA, proteins and other materials from cell-free extract of S cells, strain and mixed with heat-killed S strains and R cell separately to confirm which one could transform living R cells to S cells. Actually they wanted to test on DNA, RNA and proteins. So they what they did, they actually extracted DNA, RNA and proteins, and they wanted to see that which of this is actually doing the transformation. So only DNA was able to transform harmless R strain into deadly strain, that is S. So if you can see in the diagram, that is a rough non-virulent R strain and the heat killed smooth virulent, that is the S strain. When this two strain was mixed and it plus protease, if it is added in and it was given to the mouse was dead. But when this R strain plus S strain was treated with DNAs, then they found that the mouse was alive. If you can see in the diagram, so this is R strain plus S strain plus protease, mouse dead. R strain plus S strain plus DNAs, mouse was alive. This shows that DNAs, actually you know that DNAs, it is acting on DNA. That shows that the transforming principle or the transforming factor here is the DNA and not the proteins, which was very clear by their experiment as well as Griffith experiment. So let us see the highlights of their experiment. So it is based on transformation. Cell-free extract of S strain bacterium was subjected to DNAs, RNAs and protease. Each treated extract, it was mixed with R strain and mixture injected to mouse to see the transformation. So in case of protease and RNAs, transformation was recorded. In case of DNAs, no transformation was recorded, which shows that the transforming the genetic material is the DNA. Hershey's and Chase experiment. Other scientists were dealing and they were studying about the genetic material on bacteria. So Hershey and Chase, they studied on the viruses. Even they also wanted to know that the transforming principle or the transforming factor is DNA, RNA or protein. So what they did, they worked with the viruses which infected bacteria, that is the bacteriophages, which are composed of DNA and proteins. Bacteriophage, it consists of proteins as well as the DNA. So they used radioactive phosphorus, that is P32, in the medium for some virus and radioactive sulfur, that is S35, for some others. They grew the virus in a medium. Some viruses were grown in P32, that is in phosphorus medium, and some were grown in radioactive, that is S35 sulfur medium. Okay, so when they grew some viruses on a medium that contain radioactive phosphorus and some others on a medium that contain radioactive sulfur. So viruses which was grown in the presence of radioactive phosphorus, they contain radioactive DNA, that is the labeled DNA, but they did not contain radioactive phosphorus but protein. So why? Because actually the DNA, it consists of phosphorus. So when the virus which was grown in the presence of radioactive phosphorus, they showed the labeled DNA, but they didn't show the labeled radioactive protein, that is sulfur. So what happened? Similarly, viruses which was growing in radioactive sulfur, they contained radioactive protein but not radioactive DNA, because DNA does not contain sulfur. That is very clear. DNA, it consists of sulfur. DNA it consists of phosphorus and not sulfur. So radioactive phages which was allowed to infect E. coli bacteria, they were grown on the medium containing normal phosphorus and sulfur. And then the infection proceeded. The viral coats were removed with the help of centrifuge, and what they saw was bacteria which was infected by the virus with radioactive DNA were radioactive, indicating the DNA was the material that passed from the virus to the bacteria. Bacteria which we reinfected by viruses having radioactive sulfur were not radioactive. So this radioactive phosphorus was passed from the virus to the bacteria. The virus infected the bacteria. So virus was having the phosphorus radio labeled and it was passed to the bacteria, which showed that the transformation is done by the DNA and not the protein. So bacteria which were infected by viruses having radioactive sulfur were not radioactive. This indicates that protein from the virus did not enter bacteria. DNA is therefore the genetic material which is passed from virus to bacteria. So here Harshis and Chase very cleverly in a systematic order, they found and came to the best conclusion that DNA was only the genetic material and not the protein. Hershey's and Chase experiment. So Alfred Hershey and Martha Chase in 1952 they investigated on bacteriophages, that is viruses that infect the bacteria. The bacteriophages was composed of only DNA and protein, and they wanted to determine which of this molecule is genetic material that enters into the bacteria. And by their successful experimentation with the bacteriophage and radioactive labeled phosphorus and sulfur, they came to the conclusion that DNA was the genetic material and not the protein. So students, this was just the introductory part of DNA. We studied about the history of DNA, the genetic material is DNA, and what were the experiments which was carried out to come to the conclusion that not the protein or the RNA but DNA is the genetic material. So I want you all to go through this part of the chapter and do the assignment. Thank you.